Hello everyone and welcome on to Beyond Watch. I am currently with the one and only Machiel Hulsman, who is an independent watchmaker based in Netherlands. He is famous for one good reason: he's doing everything himself in his workshop in the Netherlands. First of all, Machiel, it's a real pleasure for me to welcome you on the show.
Thank you.
And for the people who don't know, could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Machiel, a watchmaker from the Netherlands. I actually started watchmaking about 10 years ago with the idea to create watches. In those days, I thought about using existing components. And then within a year, I noticed that that's not really the best way to go. If you really want to do something, you have to do it yourself and start from scratch. So now I make watches to the customer's requests, and they can ask whatever they want, and we'll design it together, and I'll make the timepieces for them. And
So
they
you
can
are
follow along during the whole process.
Okay, so you are working on unique pieces.
Yes, only unique pieces.
Perfect. Which is very interesting because by working with you, you will your customer will be able to really see and discover how you are working and your know-how and your craftsmanship.
Yes.
So it's a unique experience. It's not like you change the dial and the hands, and yes, it's a unique piece from scratch to the end.
Yeah, so maybe you want some guilloche on the dial instead of enamel or any other type of dial. Anything can be made, so can be done. So and the whole process can be followed. So I send updates about the parts being made as well. So you follow along during the whole project. So it's really a collaboration, which is really, really great.
And another question for you, because you said that you started being a watchmaker 10 years ago, but what made you become a watchmaker?
Yeah, for me, I always collected watches. And then one day, I gave my father a birthday gift when he turned 65. We went to Germany to assemble our own watches and do some finishing on screws, do some perlage, gold plating, and then engraving, and then putting it all together. And so we both had this watch, and kun jij vragen of ze even stil kunnen zijn? Sorry for that. Still, it's a building, it's a construction site here, so on the other side of the wall, there's a lot going on. So one day I wasn't happy with my job for a long time, working for banks and insurance companies and the politics and blah, blah. So I thought I have to do something else. And then I looked at this watch. I was wearing this actual watch, and I thought, well, it's actually cool. It is an expensive watch for me, but it's still a simple looking watch. So can I make some new hands maybe? Buy a sheet of metal, some files, and a small drill to make the hole. Mm-hmm. And then polish it, and I should be able to make my own hands. And then I thought, okay, but the dial is also, it's metal, so how hard can it be?
We'll see.
Hey, wait a minute, if I can make the hands and the dial, why not use an existing movement or the parts of an existing movement and play around with it and make room for complications, and then I can design watches for customers. And that's where the idea started. And then I went inside the building, Googled Watchmaking Netherlands, found a course, did all the courses there. And within a year I did all the courses, and I started in the watchmaking world actually. I found out about that watchmaking in a lot of cases, people don't really make the stuff themselves.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, okay, either I have to go all the way or go home, because I don't want to be somewhere in between, and I don't want to be a marketing story. I want to do it with my own hands, make everything, and then you are able to make different kind of complications, different setups. So then all doors open.
Because tell me if I'm wrong, but when you are doing everything yourself, you are really free, and you can really create what you want to create. And the only thing that maybe slow you, it's only yourself and your knowledge. But if you want to find the right courses and the right people who can help you, it's in fact easy. But it's still hard because I'm not a watchmaker. But when I look, because I had the opportunity to go to your workshop, it's really impressive what you are capable of creating with all those machines. And your watches are very impressive. How could you define your passion for watchmaking? Is it related to the know-how, the do-it-yourself, or is it related to the product itself?
Well, it's actually too much to mention because, okay, so I have a customer and who is really passionate about watches. So instantly you have a connection. And then you start talking about, okay, what would you like, blah, blah, blah. And then I have to think about, complications. Okay, like this and this. Okay, maybe that, and then that can go there. And so, okay, I think it's possible. Let me think, blah, blah, blah. And then the thinking process starts and you make some sketches first. And so this whole process from there until making a detailed design and having the customer involved, who became a friend along the way, because it's a long-term project and it's something from the heart from both sides. So it's terrific to work with those people. So that's one of the greatest things. Thinking up new ways to do existing stuff. Yeah. It's also very nice to do. Making the components, I can really enjoy when I have a very sharp angle in the metal, and I just love it. So, and it makes you want to make it even better next time, and to keep on growing and keep getting better at it. So it's all aspects are really fantastic.
And which one do you prefer the most? If you had to choose one thing, it would be staying in your workshop doing the components and creating the watch, or it will be being in touch with a collector who will become a friend with that heart connection. Which part will you choose?
Yeah, that's a really hard question, because we actually got invited to an engagement party and a wedding in Manhattan, New York by a customer who became a friend. So I cannot say, I'd rather stay in my workshop than, because it's such a wonderful person. So I really, really like that. And in the morning, I can't wait to run to my workshop and get to work again. So yeah, it's hard to choose.
Yeah, it's the same question as choosing between your mother or your wife. You can't really answer.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Could you please explain us what is your creative process? Because it's, as you mentioned, it's not conventional. You are not selling one product. You are selling unique pieces that you are creating with the customer. But could you explain us your creative process and how do you like to work?
How I would like to work? Well, it all starts with a simple WhatsApp or email, and somebody asks, I would like a watch with maybe a dress watch or a sporty watch, or with maybe some complications. And then I always tell them, okay, sounds good. If you want to continue, we can have a video call. And then actually a lot of people never call or never say, okay, so then you do the shift already, because serious, not serious.
Yeah.
A lot of people are still rude enough, I guess, to not answer even to those mails. And then so I have a passionate guy sitting in front of me on the video call. And then we start with the basics, requirements, and maybe some examples for the hands, or a color of a dial or something. We start from there, making a mental picture, and then I would make some sketches in 3D. Then that's just to see if we are going in the right direction, fine tune a little bit, and then the project really starts from there. So then we say, okay, I like this design. Then I will start with that, refine it, but we work together all along. So every detail can be adjusted, and after that I will design the movement and do all the calculations.
So on each unique pieces that you are creating, you have a unique movement.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not easy part.
No. no, I know, but
that's how crazy you are, and that's in a good way.
Yeah, but it was like with the tourbillon. I thought it would be great to have a really fast spinning balance, and then a 1 minute tourbillon, a big cage. So maybe 28,800 beats per hour balance, going really fast. That's nice, but actually it's terrible to put in a tourbillon. Such a speedy. So then you have to come up with solutions how to make it work. And that's what I like, to find the solutions. And it works perfectly now.
Regarding this tourbillon, we will take the tourbillon as an example. And we'll pick what you say, finding solution to those problems. Could you pick one problem that you had to face during the creation of the tourbillon? And could you explain us how you find the solution and solve the problem?
Yeah, for one of the many problems, because it's all our challenges, of course, and watchmaking is actually just a bucket of problems, and you have to solve it. It's day in, day out problem solving, which is really nice. So in this case, one of the things was the escapement, the balance is going too fast for a tourbillon, because normally when you have an escapement, you have the gear train, the escape wheel, which is very thin and light, because it has to accelerate from 0 to 100 instantly. So it can give an impulse to the pallet fork, which gives an impulse to the balance. So this escape wheel has to be really fast. And then the balance will start moving. But normally you would take 18,000 or 21,600 beats per hour for a tourbillon. That's doable. But to make it faster, you have to imagine the escape wheel is inside the tourbillon cage now. So it's spinning with the tourbillon cage.
Okay.
So now the problem is, how fast can it turn? Well, it depends on how fast can you turn the cage. Because if you turn the cage, the escape wheel will turn and will rotate. And then your cage is big and slow. So how can your escape wheel be fast? So that's difficult to achieve. So you have to make the cage.
How do you find the solution?
I put an extra spring on the escape wheel. So now when you wind the watch, you see the cage already going forward a little bit. It winds the spring on the escape wheel, And then when the escapement starts working and the balance starts moving, then there will always be a little bit of power on the escape wheel. So even if you stop the tourbillon, the escape wheel will still turn a little bit. So you have a power reserve built in the escape wheel. And because it's going, if the pellet hits the escape wheel, the lock, that means the escape wheel will stop instantly, tack. So it will stop the whole cage. So that means the pellet on the escape wheel, which is light, very thin, that small stuff stops the whole tourbillon cage instantly. It's an instant brake. Pop, tack, tack, tack. So a lot of friction and forces there. But now there's a spring on the escape wheel. So now the cage, now the pellet hits the escape wheel, tack.
Yeah.
And the whole cage wants to continue a bit, but the spring takes all the force. So there's not much shock anymore on the escapement. So it's better for the escapement, and the escapement can react instantly. So it's faster.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about that, but there is watches who works also perfectly. But you have just to use a battery, and sometimes, yeah, it's called quartz. It's maybe easier to play with. But no, I really wanted to show to the people how crazy your level of craftsmanship is, and why it's interesting to interview you, to really take the time to explain what you are doing, because it's so unique. And thanks a lot for your time. Would you say that you have a specialty in your art? If there is something that you say, okay, I'm very good at doing that. I'm mastering all the other components, but I'm mastering this part. I'm loving it, and I know that I'm very good at it.
Yeah, there's about 35 disciplines in watchmaking. Well, but coming up with ideas and handling your clients, for example, are not even in there, which I think are two very important components. So, and I think complications would be something, and to see other ways to solve a problem.
And what would be your advice to the people who would like to know more about managing a potential customer and finding ideas about complication? What would be your advice?
Well, managing customers is not, maybe I use the wrong terms, because for me it's not managing customers, because what I do is I follow my heart and my dreams. I found my passion, and people recognize that. And they want to be part of that, to have a part, a timepiece made with that passion and collaboration. So it's not finding customers, because they come to me without marketing. And we are working together on crazy, beautiful projects with a lot of fun. So, and I always tell my customers I'm Dutch, so I'm sorry for that. And that does mean if it is going well, I will say it's going well. If it's not going well, I will say it's not going well. So prepare for that. Don't be scared, because I will find a solution, but I will always be dishonest.
Yeah.
But don't be scared. So it's from the heart, from both sides. So it's not managing, it's having a lot of fun.
And finding ideas. How do you do that? And what would be your advice?
Finding
ideas.
Yeah. Well, the customers come to me with ideas.
Yeah.
I just have to find the solutions.
Yeah.
And so you have Switzerland, of course, where Sometimes they make watches there, I think.
Or chocolate.
Yeah, and they love making parts. So that's why they put a lot of parts in a small space, where you can actually do it with a lot less parts in a lot of cases. So I like to look at how the Swiss find solutions, how they make a minute repeater, for example. And then I know how it works, and then I forget about it, and I start from scratch. And maybe now there's not even a gong, but something turning or so. So forget about everything that's been done, and do it your own way. And then you can make it more efficient, because a lot of the Swiss movements have the basics of a 200 years old movement design or a minute repeater design. The minute repeater has in most cases not changed even in modern watches for 200 years. There must be a better way now. But yeah, nobody's doing it because it works. It always worked. Okay, it's not really efficient. Okay, it can break easily and blah, blah, blah. But it works, and we don't have the money and the time, and we can't take our chances on a new complication that's so complex. And our name is attached to it, so we are scared to do
something new.
Yeah,
in a new way.
So they stick to the old. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sure after those 10 years in the watchmaking universe, you have a lot of anecdotes or encounters. So could you please share to us one of those anecdotes or encounters that mark your career as a watchmaker?
Well, anecdotes, I have a lot of stories. I went to Switzerland a lot of times, of course, met a lot of crazy and beautiful people there, made a lot of friends. So it's not really one anecdote, it's the whole experience. Yeah, what made, for me, what was one of the biggest things in the past years is having that customer from America, and he wants a crazy complicated watch, and it's crazy, really crazy. So, and then you think, no, that's impossible, there's no way. Then you start thinking, okay, but maybe if I do it the other way around, or I forget about that and I'll make my own ideas, and then, maybe it's possible, and then stuff comes together. So I think this watch will be something incredible.
And what would you say?
I think this whole, that he put his trust in me and we embarked on the project, I think that's the biggest thing.
And what would you say to this customer in particular?
What I would say to him?
Yeah.
That, he's crazy. But he knows it. I'm just enjoying it a lot. Things are coming together real nice. And we're pulling it off. So it's a lot of fun.
That's so nice. And if you had just one piece of life advice to give, what would it be?
I would say know what your passion is, know what you want, and then go for it. And okay, if you have to sell your car or whatever, just those are details. If you're 80 years old and you didn't want to sell your car 50 years before, then you regret it. So find out what you really want, go for it, and make it number one priority. Forget about all the details, all the rest. There's only one thing, and do your best.
Yeah, also.
You will succeed.
Yeah. Machiel, thanks a million for all those stories, explanation about your work and yourself. I hope the audience understood a bit more about who you are and what you are trying to achieve with your craftsmanship. I hope to see you very soon on the channel, and maybe we'll see each other very soon in Geneva during Watches and Wonders.
Nice. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.